What if Claude Code could do more than write code? What if it could use your browser to actually do the work itself? That's not hypothetical. The Claude team released a browser extension for Chrome, and most people think that it's just something there to kind of do the normal AI things to a page. You can summarize, maybe understand what's on the page, ask questions, the usual. But there's way more here. I'm going to show you 4 things that this extension can do, each one cooler than the last. And in fact, the last one is excellent. I'm going to fully automate a workflow that I have already that I have to do manually. I'm going to use Claude Code and this Chrome Claude extension to get the work done. No code, just automation. But let's start simply. Once you have the extension installed, let me show you really briefly. When I pull it open, like any other kind of AI browser, it tacks something on the side, and this is what you might have thought this was all about. So asking, how do I install the extension? It's going to read the page. You'll see that it kind of creates a group and shows you that it's interacting with a page, and in fact, it will ask you to approve the steps that it's taking. That's one of the things that you'll see down here in this drop menu that allows you to always ask or go through and approve each step. And here is the summary. Really very, very useful. But if you think this is exciting, just wait until you see the next one. So here's where it gets exciting. This kind of extension is not here just to be able to see the page that you're on. It can control the browser, it can click buttons, it can do all of this. But let me step back a second and say, be careful. This thing is in your live browser. When you're interacting with it, make sure you're watching. These things are brand new and we're really all trying to get used to it. And there's ways for things like prompt injection and other things to really make a mess of things. So just be cautious. All right, let's open the extension and let's tell it, think of an important event that happened in history today and use that information with ChatGPT to create an image. Make sure the image is dynamic, exciting, and includes appropriately styled titles to describe what's being shown, and maybe even the year or date if that's important. So I'm going to submit that here. It will think about it. Again, it'll create a neat little group for us, and it will come back and ask, can I actually do this on this domain, on this page? Do you mind if I interact with it? And so what it did is it pasted in the question of create a dynamic and exciting historical commemorative image showing Galileo's groundbreaking discovery of Jupiter's 4th largest moons, January 7th, 1610. It searched for it itself, so it used Sonnet to get that information, and it just pasted this into ChatGPT and off to the races. And of course, here we are using a great image model these days with ChatGPT, Galileo's discovery in 1610. So this is it taking control of the browser and taking action. This is really exciting. It's like these AI browsers that are out there with Comet or Atlas or something like that that can actually control the browser when you ask it to do things. That's one of the things this can do. But if you think this is cool, wait until you see the next one. All right, so here's where this gets really interesting and practical. So I think we have a pretty cool idea of being able to create posters for historical events very easily. If we look at it up here, there is a button down at the bottom that is Save as Shortcut. And so this extension has a concept of shortcuts. When I click on that, I can say Today in History as the name, and you can see it's saving it with a slash. Very similar to Claude Code, it creates slash commands for your browser suddenly. All it is really saving the prompt itself, and it actually has kind of a starting point URL, and I'll just let it start from ChatGPT itself. And so now we have a shortcut saved. All right, let's assume that we're on some generic page somewhere, and we decide to pull this up. If I hit slash, you can see I have a Today in History slash command here. If I select that, it will jump to that starting URL that we were on using my cookies, understanding this is in your browser. So you would log in, you would do all the things yourself. And it again is still asking me to approve the plan. So I'll hit enter on this one, and then it's going to go off and do its thing once again. So really, if you have things on the web that you like to do on a regular basis or something like that, you can really start doing that with slash commands. And these commands can really gather information off the page and do quite a bit. It's not as simple as just open a page and post something into it. This does a lot more than that. Okay, so let me show you what I've built here. Just very briefly, I've shown this in the past, and we'll come back to it in a second because it's part of our last, really most exciting kind of what Claude Code's extension can do, but I have an application here where I can create kind of definitions for jingles. I have an application that I put jingles into, little catchy tunes that you hear in front of a commercial. And so this application kind of plays one of these jingles at start, but I want different kind of jingles for different time periods, so different kind of events. You can see that there's the Lunar New Year, Mardi Gras, Groundhog Day, different holidays have different jingles. If I go into one of these, then you'll see I am using Claude Code to generate all of this, and it comes in and generates a block here of information that is the title, the lyrics for that song, and then the style itself that we want the song in, and it creates multiples. So excellent. I'm going to use this. What I would generally do is I come out to Suno, and I have to take the lyrics from this, take them, copy them, paste them in here, which, as you can tell, is a bit irritating to have to go through this every single time for multiples of these and then go get the title. So really, it is a manual process, and I do have to do this from time to time. That's a big pain. So instead of doing it this way, let's pull open Claude, and what Claude, the extension, can allow you to do is actually teach Claude skills. So if I click on Teach Claude and start the recording, it's listening to me talk, as you can see here. So I can say what I do is I come to Suno, the application, and I go into the Create tab itself. And as I click things, you'll see it capturing screenshots. And then I also make sure that I'm not on the simple. Instead, I'm on the Custom tab here. And then what I need to do is I need to put the lyrics into the lyrics area, and then the style into the style area, and then the title into the title area. And then I click Create, and that's it. And once I hit done, what it's going to do is Claude itself is going to look through all of these screenshots and all of the definition of what I just did and build basically a prompt to do exactly that. What it will do with that prompt is it will turn it into the shortcut that we just saw. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Okay, you can see that it has this starting URL of the action that it has. It also has a definition of everything that I described to it in its own language, having looked at all of the screenshots, and it's given it a name. So if I come here inside of the settings for the extension itself, we can take a look at the different shortcuts we have. We have the Today in History one that we were just looking at. We can come back and edit it here. But I have a previous one that I called Jingles. I want to show you this because I added a few things to it. There were a few things at the bottom that I added that said, you have to give me the title, the lyrics, and the styles. That was an important add to this itself. And make sure that you click the Create button, because many times it was not hitting the Create button. So knowing that I added those two things, let's take a look at this in action. Okay, so we come back to the jingles itself. One of the nice things, I do have to bring all of this over, but I get to come over to this and say, I want to do a jingle with all of that information. I hit enter. All of this information is being consumed, of course, by Sonnet itself before it has to worry about where to put things. It asks me to approve it. I ask for it to go forward. And so now what it's going to do is it's going to find each one of those places. It's going to go to the right custom tab itself. It will paste these things in and it'll hit the Create button. All right, it's pasted the lyrics in. There goes the styles. It entered the title and it's verifying everything. And there it is, it's hit the Create button. And now I have two songs over here that I can listen to, figure out which one I want, and download the one that I want. So this is kind of fantastic. It does a lot for me. I still need to get those lyric blobs created, copy them over and just paste it in, but it does the rest of the work. I will say it's kind of slow, but that's kind of okay as well. I don't need this to be instantaneous yet, especially since, like I was warning you, I kind of want to watch it and make sure what it's doing for the most case, but I don't have to worry about each one of the different steps. All right, if you think this is neat, wait until you see this last one. This is everything all together. Okay, so here's the coup de grace. Here's everything. This is really the exciting point. We're going to go through 3 or 4 things pretty quickly here. So what I want to show you is when you start Claude, it does not actually have access to the extension naturally. So if I just started Claude here, what you'll see is I do not have access to the Chrome extension yet. I have access to the tooling, but it's not enabled. So if you do a /Chrome, then you can come down and enable the extension itself. So right now it's disabled. I can reconnect it. I will turn it on by default. And now we have that extension enabled. Okay, and once I get my dev server running, I can say something like load this in the browser. It will use that new Chrome extension browser tool to actually make a new tab in Chrome itself and load the application. All right, and this is where it gets exciting. All right, we're gonna take a look at this screen real briefly. Down here at the bottom, these numbers seem a little bit small to me. Now, typically I would take a screenshot of this section, send it back to it and say, I need these numbers to be a little bit larger. They seem a little bit small to me. But in fact, instead of doing that, let's just ask Claude Code itself to use the browser tools to take a look at this and make these fonts a little bit bigger so that they all still fit here, but they feel more impactful. Take a look at the hero video tile. I like the stats, but I need them to be a little bit bigger. They seem a little bit small for this UI. Okay, it's updated the size and it's coming and checking on the browser. As you can see here, it takes control, it takes a look, and then it comes back. And you can see that it's saying using Claude in Chrome. That's when it's using the controller here. I wanted to just show while you're using Claude Code, you can just use it to take a look at the application that's being built and you're working on. You can tell it to look at things like the dev console and get errors and all of that kind of stuff. So definitely use it for that, but that's not what this is about. Let me show you the full circle of what we're doing here. Okay, so here we go. Come on a journey with me. This is my jingles application. This is where I get the jingles written. If you recall, I get the block that has kind of the lyrics and the style and that sort of thing. What we want to ask for is jingle ad for Pi Day. So let's create some jingles for Pi Day. And all I'm showing here is I am not doing something that's programming at this point with Claude Code. This is a way that I kind of manage resources. It's using Claude, Opus itself, in fact, to kind of research what Pi Day is, what dates it's on, some of the general attitudes towards Pi Day. Then it's writing different kinds of jingles relative to the information that it finds. So it's doing this research step, then it's writing files. All of this I've been doing for quite a while, and it really creates very good kind of jingle files that are fun and entertaining that are related to specific holidays. And in fact, I will come here and ask, are there any other holidays in April that we can add? And it'll find something funny like Abacus Day or something like that. And it'll go research it, all of this stuff. So that's one of the things that I want to highlight first. Claude Code is absolutely not just for programming. I do a whole bunch of work that is not programming work. Okay, so it created a Pi Day file. As you can see, it created 3 different segments of things in this file. And this file, I don't want to have to touch. Right now, I have to touch it and do what we were doing last time. I want to see if we can make this work with the browser and do almost everything that I was doing, except I still want to be involved and pick the right jingles because some of them do kind of suck. So, okay, let's see what we can do to try to make this thing control the browser. All right, first things first, I think it would be smart if we came out to the shortcut that we already created for these jingles, and I just take this entire definition there, pasted this in here, and I've given this URL. Okay, what you've got here is a prompt and a URL. I want you to use browser tools to perform what this prompt indicates. In fact, let's just turn it into a slash command that we can always run. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, it got it. Yes, I do want to test it with a jingle file, but since it created a slash command, let me leave and come back real quick. Okay, so this is where we are. Would you like to test it now with a jingle file? Yes, let's test it with our Pi Day file that was just created. Excellent, it found the 3 different things in the Pi Day file. You can see that it's opening up a browser control back here. I will wait for it to ask me, can I control this site? I'm gonna say yes. Excellent. Come on. Okay, it put the lyrics in, it put the title in. So this is it creating Math Professor infomercial. We're hoping the create button gets clicked. Ah, the create button didn't get clicked. Everything worked except that create button. Nothing clicked the create button. All right, there it went. Click the create button. Excellent. It's also updating the instructions. Perfect. Okay.
3.14159. Your numbers never stop, they climb and climb. Infinite digits, infinite views. Open the app, you've got nothing to lose. Beep, 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 day. Stats go round and round, hey!
Okay, excellent. Okay, let's try the next one. I don't know why this is working.
Loading, 3.1. Calculating fun has just begun.
Okay, Let's try the next one. And 25 seconds later, here we Yep, perfect. Okay, and finally, I'm going to try to get 8 jingles for St. Patrick's Day, and I'm going to tell it just to move on and do them all, or in fact, see if it can open 1 tab per and let them do all at the same time. Let's see how this goes. So it has created the file with all the St. Patrick's Day items in it. That looks good, and I think the next thing it's moving on to is let's keep an eye on the browser. Okay, all right, Suno, I'm coming at you. Finally, I'm getting my value out of my Suno account. Excellent. I don't need an API. All right, it seems to have gone to the different tabs and put the lyrics in, and then it'll come back, I'm imagining, and put the styles in, and then put the titles in. That's pretty cool to see it working across each one of these tabs. And that is it. It sat there and worked through all the tabs, checked its work, made sure everything was done, come back, and we have a whole bunch of songs suddenly that are created using this concept.
The numbers climb, stats are flowing like Guinness time. Green and gold, the charts align. Happy St. Paddy's, your stats look fine.
Okay, I hope you like what you saw here. This new extension inside of Chrome really is pretty amazing and can do a lot, but more important is the integration that you can get with something like Claude Code, especially when you're using Claude Code for things that are not code. I know I've said that a lot on this channel. If you've seen those other videos, then you kind of know where I'm coming from. This thing does so much that I highly advise come up with anything, any little project that you can open up Claude Code into in your own notes, whatever it might be, just so that you can get the power and understand what's going on with having AI basically integrated inside of your own environment. And now with browser interactions, you can really have it do quite a bit. I could have asked it to read those files, pull them back, ingest them, do more with it. There's a lot you can do here. It's very exciting. It's not just a little browser add-on that you can ask questions about a browser page. I hope you like what you saw. Thanks for coming along for the ride on this one, and I'll see you in the next one.